Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today we have a bit of a fun one, kind of a little bit DIY, and definitely something that you can try. Now, we all know that stamps and dies as letters and alphabet can be pretty expensive to purchase. As a one-off purchase, yes, they last a long time, if not a lifetime, but especially when they are large, it can be expensive, and I want to create my own. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Now, these are the items. This is everything that you need. Super simple. So I am actually going to be doing this on some black cardstock today. No real reason, I just think it really makes the colors pop, and it also gives us the ability to use some metallic-y kind of colors later on as well. So I have this little mixed media notepad here. Each one of these are 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, so it's already cut down, ready to go. And then I'm going to be using some acrylic paints. These are the Dina Wakley heavy body acrylic paints. You've seen me use these time and time again. They are lasting me years, which I love. As for the letters, I am going to be creating these using some masking tape. Now, I want bleed proof. I want the most secure option that I can think of, and for me, this is the Masking Magic strips. I am using I think these are the 1/2 inch ones, and I'm creating the letter I today. Now, I will say, this probably isn't for every letter. You could go through the alphabet like A, yes, B, yes, C, maybe, D, tricky, E, yes, F, yes, G, maybe, H, yes, I, yes, J, yeah, maybe, K, yes, L, yes, M, yes, N, yes. You know, like, you get the gist of it. The ones with lots of curves are going to be trickier. So, yes, it does mean select letters that I am going to choose, but that's okay, because if not, then I would just choose a different technique, or I wouldn't be giving them a letter card, if you know what I mean. So that's fine. But for today, I am going to be using these beautiful acrylic paints. I have chosen a light and a dark pink, and kind of a light and a dark green. Not super dark, not super light, just whatever you've got. Then I'm also going to use the Stamperia, those beautiful, I think it's like, is it white gold or white something? It's absolutely stunning. These Stamperia metallics, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. And then I'm just going to go around and create some flowers. Now, there is no rhyme or reason as to where I'm putting them. It's going to depend on your letter. But as I said, you want some really good quality masking tape. Now, for this, I love mint tape, but I wouldn't use mint tape for this. Mint tape does not hold up well to water. It's not what it was designed for. It's designed for more ink and things. I wouldn't say, whereas the Masking Magic, it is designed for mixed media. It is designed to have all those things thrown at it, and it's still going to hold up. So I tend to really only keep those 2 on board, because that covers all my bases. But depending on what you have, give it a go, give it a try, see what you've got, and if not, you might need to do a couple of layers. That may also work. Worst case scenario, you can actually, tape out the letter, and then on a separate piece of black, cut around it and stick it down on top. If you have dies of letters, then 10 out of 10, use those. You can use that to cut out a mask, and then you can use that to stick down. And then, of course, you can do any letter, but I don't have any dies that are even remotely this size. So this, I just wanted to be a full-sized initial. So you can see that I have done flowers. I chose the dark pink to go underneath, and then I did light pink on top. I've added some leaves. I've added some of these little, I don't even know, they're not a specific flower. It's just little decorative elements, and I used this, the Stamperia paint, and it is so metallic. It is very shiny on this black cardstock, which gave me a whole lot of other ideas, but we're trying to stick with this one for the minute, and it does look a little bit hot mess. I want to dry this really well before I take off anything, that's for sure. But I also want to add in a few more details as well. Sometimes, depending on your acrylic paint, if you've got different brands, you might want to go over them a couple of times, a couple of layers. You can use your heat gun for this and just make sure you dry in between layers. You could try different things like distress oxides. You might have some stamps that you could use that are going to show up. You don't have to use black cardstock at all. White cardstock is going to work just perfect for this as well. So by all means, you could just do this masking and then stamp your flowers or florals or something over top of it. That's going to work too. I'm going to take a couple of Posca pens and draw in some finer details. I'm going to draw in some centers to the flowers. I'm going to draw in some veins to the leaves. You could do some, some blending or ombre work. I was okay. I'm happy with where this is at, and it doesn't have to be perfection. That's usually not what I'm aiming for my cards, but we're doing pretty good. Here is the part where I can peel off my mask and see how we did. Now, I think this is very near perfect. And anything that did get in was probably my fault for not pushing it down well enough, but pretty good. Now, as for some shiny elements, I have the DecoColor pens, and I also have the Posca, both in gold, and I just want to show you the difference. Now, these ones here are very metallic, the DecoColor. I have them in gold, silver, and maybe rose gold, I think it's called. But these are just unbelievably beautiful metallics. So these are all three that I have here. I love these. They show up on black. Stunning. They do have a gentle odor to them, I would say. But it does dissipate. It goes away very quickly. So that's something that I appreciate. If you have the Posca gold and silver, I think it's, it's actually perfect as well. It just looks next to the DecoColor ones. It doesn't look quite as good, but here's where I made some mistakes. So I was like, I just want to use a ruler to get these nice and straight, to get them perfect. And then you can see I got some bleeding. That was completely me and my mistake, but that's okay. So I learned my lesson, just freehand it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just adding in this color. Again, you could skip this step, absolutely. I just want to give that eye, catching movement to this black background that we have used. And I still have that little whoopsie. I'm letting it dry completely before I try and do anything to it. Then all I'm going to do is take some black acrylic paint and just dab a tiny little bit over top, and then I'm just going to dab it with my finger so I get good coverage, and then leave it to dry. It's going to dry completely matte, and even when I moved this in the light, I couldn't see it. So, phew, we are saved. Good to go. And then I'm going to trim this panel down. Now, I am laughing because I, as usual, don't have a plan with what the card is going to turn out like or what I want to do with it. I did know that I wanted to add a matting layer, but that's funny to me because I keep trimming this down significantly. You can definitely see that there ends up being a little pile of black scraps down there, and I just trim a tiny bit at a time because at this point, obviously, I've done the main focal point and I didn't want to ruin it, and I didn't have a very good solid plan in place. But anyhow, we got there, and it got down to, I don't know what size, but it got down to this size. And then I just get a white piece of matting layer and just coordinate it. And even if you put this down like this on here and you think, yeah, that's not even, just trim it. That's okay, it's okay, just trim it. And then from here, I'm going to add a very tiny little black matting layer again, basically just a couple of matting layers to really help this pop off the page. And then I can see one thing missing from this that is just screaming out, but I'm waiting right until the very end to do this little final detail. But this was a really fun one to make. I mean, not super specific items that you have to have. There's you can make 2/3 or 3/4 of the alphabet this way, and I am desperate to do this little faux splatter in here. So a really fun card to put together. I hope that you've enjoyed this one, and if you did, I would love to see your creations if you choose to give this one a go. So you can post them over on my Facebook group, Come Crafting with Natasha. We would love to see you there, or you can just come along and see everybody else's ideas too. So nonetheless, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you next time. Bye.